गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुः श्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोद निराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So in our Kenopanishad class, in our last satsanga, we had completed the first Khanda and just started the second Khanda. In the first Khanda, we have seen the inquiry, that quest for realizing the truth or the reality. The question was, what is that faculty, or who is that controlling all instruments, both the external instruments and the internal? By whose command all these instruments are working? That question put forth by the seeker, we can take it into the level of macrocosmic phenomena. That is, from the microcosm, from the individual level, we can take that question to the cosmic level or the macrocosmic level. That is, there are innumerable devatas, that is, those who are responsible for different phenomena. If fire is burning, if sun is shining, or the earth is moving, water is flowing, if lightning happens or thunder happens, there must be some principle behind that. And for a student who is observing all these phenomenal planes, it is very evident that there is a rule, a scheme, which is controlling everything. Everything is abided by that. So who is that? This was the question. Evaluating the seeker, as competent enough to have that knowledge? Guru replies, you just go inside. There is an eye of the eye. There is an ear of the ear. There is a nose of the nose. There is the mind of the mind. Just inquire what it is. So this inquiry will take us inward. That means from the outward inquiry, we will set on a deep dive into the innermost corners of our own individuality. And then it is that realizing that reality, we can get rid of all false identifications with this body-mind-intellect complex. And then we will realize that existence absolute is the unlimited self. So knowing that I am the unlimited, then there is no more death. That no more reaches the immortality, state of immortality. And again, it was told that existence absolute, knowing which we attain immortality, is not the knower, known, nor unknown. It is neither known nor unknown. That means that is the knower. You cannot objectify the knower. You cannot objectify the knower. And therefore, it is above the realm of senses of cognition and organs of action. And it is above intellect. It is above all valid means of knowledge. Because it is the self. This is the summary of the first Khanda. With all attention and dedication, the student heard this. It is at this point the second Khanda begins. The first mantra is yadi manyase suvedeti daharamevāpi nūnaṃ tvaṃ vettha brahmaṇo rūpam yadasya tvaṃ yadasya deveṣvatha mīmām syameva manye viditam. Yadi manyase suvedeti daharamevāpi nūnaṃ tvaṃ vettha brahmaṇo rūpam. There is one more version which says dabhramevāpi nūnaṃ. Instead of daharam, dabhram. The meaning of both are the same. That means yadi manyase suveda idi. If you are considering yourself as knowing well, I know Brahman well, then daharamevāpi nūnaṃ tvaṃ vettha. What you know is very, very little. Daharam means very little. Same is the meaning of dabhram. Very little. This is the first word. See, one who is a beginner in the study of Upanishad will, of course, become perplexed by hearing this. Because a teacher is teaching Are you hearing? There is some disturbance here.
We
Is there
can
any?
hear you. We can hear you, Swamiji.
No, no. Is there any extra voice coming?
No, no.
Here some noise is coming. Why I don't know. Yes, yes. No, it's all right. No, it's all right. So yes, a teacher is teaching a student. Why? He is having only one intention. Let the student know. Let the student know. He must learn what I am teaching. This is the only intention of a teacher. Then if the student knows well, it must give happiness to the teacher. If he's a teacher. If the student is saying, yes, my teacher, I understood this very well, then the automatic or natural reciprocation will be good, good. This is what I want from you. I am expecting this from you. But instead of saying that, here the teacher is saying, if you are considering yourself as a man who knew well, you know very little. What's the meaning of knowing very little? The meaning is you know nothing. Hey, how is that meaning you get? See, for something which is having length, we can say, I passed this much length. Half distance I crossed. For example, if we are walking to a place which is 10 kilometers away from our place, and after walking 5 kilometers, we can say, I passed half the distance. Or if you are carrying something having 5 kilograms of weight, and if you say, I can carry 2.5 kilograms, then it is the half of that. That means which you can measure, which is limited either by time or climb, space or time. There you can know half, quarter, like that. But the integral self, which cannot be broken to parts, how you know half or well? No. If you are jumping 5 meters, then I can say I can jump 2 meters or I can jump 1 meter only. Of course. But if you are jumping above a well, just imagine a well, and just imagine the radius of that well is 2 meters. So if a person jumps 3 or 3.5 meters, he is inside the well. He will fall inside. because he will have to jump 4 meters to cross the well. So if he say, I can jump 1 meter or 2 meter or 3 meter or 3.5 meter, that means he will be in the well. He will fall inside because it is something which cannot be divided. If we see something having form, we can say, I just saw, but I am not sure what are the detailed. I didn't see him detailed. Just I saw, we can say. When you are traveling, and from one side you hear a song, you didn't stop there and hear. You are traveling. So you can say, I just heard, but I do not know what that song is. I just heard a song, a voice, that only. It's a music that I understood. But what that music is, I do not know. So, regarding sound or touch or form or taste or smell, we can say, I knew well, I got it well, I tasted well. But that which is devoid of all these, which cannot be divided into parts, which do not have any quality, how we can say, I knew well? So when we say, I knew well, we are taking it as an object. So that is why the teacher says, if you consider yourself as a person who knew well, you know nothing. Because you are taking Brahman as an object. No, it cannot be. Yadi manyase suvedeti, daharamevāpi nūnaṃ tvaṃ vettha. Brahmaṇo rūpam. Brahmaṇo rūpam. The verbal meaning of rūpam is form. Brahmaṇo rūpam. The form of Brahman. Brahman is formless. So form of the formless. What's the meaning of that? Then we had to find out the real meaning of rūpam. Simply we will translate as form, but it is not form. In many translations you will see form. No. Rūpyate anena iti rūpam. To think or to contemplate something, there must be some limb, some aspect with the help of which we can think. Something to catch with the help of which we can think. That is rūpam. Rūpyate anena. That can be quality or some activity. So by which we can contemplate what Brahman is. That is the form of Brahman. So the form of Brahman you didn't understand at all. Why? You are considering as you knew well. That means you are taking it as an object. It's not an object. It is not the object. Now there is one more chance. See, when we are in the path of inquiry, at a certain level of our inquiry, we will take different attributes. We will take different attributes with the help of which we will contemplate. Reality is having no attributes at all. But for the sake of upasana, for the sake of worship, we will take names, we will take forms. And in that level, we will be worshipping different devatas. We will be worshipping different devatas. Different devatas. In the Vedas, even the Samhita begins with the fire, Agni. Then there are Varuna, Indra, Vishnu, Rudra, so many. So many devatas. And when we go to Puranas, there are innumerable devatas. We can worship different devatas. And through devata worship, we will get, by chanting mantras, by doing other worships like homas, etc., we can purify our own mind. We can get our own intellect more and more sharpened. That will take us deeper in the journey of inquiry. No doubt at all. So in that level, we may be taking or considering many devatas with different attributes. We know there are different dhyanas for different devatas. All these dhyanas are giving different attributes. Now, a student can meditate or contemplate with the help of these attributes of devatas. In that case, there are names, there are forms. So in that level or at that level, you can say, I knew well. There's nothing wrong in that. But even in that level, your understanding is not correct. Why? You are taking Brahman or you are accepting Brahman with so many attributes. Of course, devatas are having attributes. But if you are seeing Brahman in those devatas, even then your knowledge is not perfect. Then what you have to do? There is only one way. Adharam mīmām syameva te. Atha, then, no doubt at all, mīmām syameva te, for you. This Brahman is mīmāṃsyam. Mīmāṃsyam means he is to be contemplated repeatedly. He is to be discussed repeatedly. The verbal meaning of mīmāṃsa is repeated thinking. Repeated thinking. Different aspects we will take and discuss within, debate with others to determine, to ascertain something. That is mīmāṃsa. One can do mīmāṃsa within one's own mind. That is analyzing the pros and cons or different aspects of something, applying logic, and of course with the help of Shastras. With the help of Shastras, a logical thinking. And of course, we can sit with others of the same wavelength and discuss. All these will make mīmāṃsa. So mīmāṃsyam means is to be ascertained through contemplation, discussion, deliberations. When discussions and deliberations, we say, don't consider we sit in a group and discuss or deliberate. Of course, that also is welcome. But within one's own mind, we can do that. For that, there is the Purva Paksha, there is the Uttara Paksha. We can propose one Purva Paksha within our own mind. And we have to find out the answer or the reply for that. So this type of logical thinking that you have to do. For what? For ascertaining the reality. This is the only way. Bhagavan Bhashyakara in the Aparokshanubhuti has written, Notpadyade vinajnanam vicharena anya sadhanaihi. Knowledge or the wisdom will not dawn without proper discrimination. Discrimination and contemplation is the only way to have knowledge. That we have to do within. That we have to do in a group. That we have to do within. So this is the only way for you to have a clarity of idea. Now your knowledge is not good. It is not proper. Because you are taking Brahman as something having limbs or parts or some qualities. That is why you are considering yourself as one who knew well. Adharam mīmām syameva te. So this is the saying of the Guru. See, when the teacher says you have to do this, immediately the student will do that. If he is staying with Guru without doing that, then he is not a student. What Guru says, Shishya will immediately observe that. So when the Guru say, mīmām, it is to be discriminated, it is to be contemplated by you for ascertaining it. Then there is no more questions, there is no more lingering. Then and there itself, the Shishya will go. He will sit at a solitary place, conducive for introspection. And he will go inside with the help of the teachings of the Guru. There is a great light with him. The light given by the Guru. What is that? Anyadeva tad vididat atho avididat adhi. This is the light the Shishya is having. That ultimate reality is not what is known. It is not what is unknown. Neither known nor unknown means it is the knower. So the ultimate reality you are inquiring is you yourself. This teaching is the light. And to inquire that, many hints were given by the Guru. Like na tatra chakshur gacchati na vag gacchati, like that. So the Shishya will not be misled by senses of cognition or organs of action, nor by the mind or intellect. That means he will transcend all these. All these means those faculties which we will take in the case of normal cognition. Because that teaching was given. And that light of teaching is with the Shishya. So with that, he went. And he said somewhere, it is not written in the Shruti. Shruti is silent in that aspect. But we can assume, and Bhagavan Bhashyakara clearly writes, getting this indication from the teacher, Shishya went to some solitary place and contemplated, and after having a clear vision, came back to the teacher. These are the missing links of the Upanishad. See, almost all Upanishads are like class notes. When we write something, when we hear, when we attend a class and we are writing the notes, that note will not be full. If the teacher himself see that note, even he will not understand. The student who wrote that note, how to explain? How to connect? The missing parts you have to link. The same way, most of the Upanishads are like class notes. There are many missing points, gaps to fill. So with the help of a acharya, with the help of a traditional commentary, we can go in the study of Upanishads. Why? Because all the traditional acharyas, they bridged the gaps of this. So this is the greatest contribution of Bhagavan Bhashyakara. All the missing links he connected. If Bhashyas were not there, most of the Upanishads will remain above our understanding. Even if we know Samskrita very well. But Bhagavan Bhashyakara, with Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhava, wisdom of earlier acharyas, logic, and experience, he bridged all the gaps. That is why we are studying the Upanishads. So Bhagavan Bhashyakara says, after contemplating and realizing, the Shishya came back to the Acharya and wrote, manye viditam. I consider myself as I know viditam. One who is having that knowledge. I consider myself as having knowledge. I know that. This is the first reply. Because when Guru asked him to go and discriminate, for what? For ascertaining what the reality is. Shishya didn't open his mouth. He kept silent. Because it is not the time for him to open his mouth. Guru didn't ask him any question. If Guru asks a question, Shishya has to reply. There is no other way. But here Guru didn't ask. Guru commanded. Then there is no scope for replies or anything like that. So immediately Shishya went somewhere, contemplated, discriminated, and realized, and came back and said, manye viditam. Manye means I think. Viditam, known. So I think Brahman is known. It is not something known. You cannot know Brahman. But Shishya said that. And therefore, he had to clarify. What is the meaning of that? How you can know something which is above the known and unknown? How you can know that? So it is the duty of the Shishya to clarify that. And therefore, he says, nāhaṃ manye suvedeti, nūnaṃ vedeti vedacha, yo nastadveda, tadveda, nūnaṃ vedeti vedacha. nāhaṃ manye suvedeti, nūnaṃ vedeti vedacha, yo nastadveda tadveda, nūnaṃ vedeti vedacha. Nāhaṃ manye, I am not thinking. I am not considering. I am not thinking. Aham suveda idi. I know Brahman well. I don't think so. Yes, earlier I thought so. That thinking was there within me. I knew Brahman very well. Because at that stage of analysis, I took Brahman as something which can be objectified. And with that thought within, after hearing the Upanishadic teaching, I considered myself as a man who knew. And therefore I said, Suveda aham. Or I thought, because he didn't open his mouth. But from his expressions, Guru realized that. But now, I know this much. Brahman is not something to be known. So I am not considering myself as someone who knew well. No. Nāhaṃ manye suvedeti, nūnaṃ vedeti. At the same time, I don't consider as I do not know. See, I don't think I knew well. At the same time, I don't consider myself as somebody who knew nothing. No, I know. Vedacha, I know. In that vedacha, there is not a trace of doubt. Because that comes from the inner experience. Vedacha. He's affirming that. That is doubtless affirmation. Vedacha. I know. How do you know? I know that I am not knowing well. Because Brahman is not something having qualities to be known, to know well. So I cannot say well. But at the same time, I know. And I am sure I know. I don't have any doubt. Not me alone. Yaha naha tadveda. Naha yaha. Naha, in the midst of we people, that is other students like me, there are many students in that institution who are studying under that guru. And among them, one who knows, yo nastadveda tadveda. He knows. Undoubtedly he knows. One who is knowing, he knows. Nūnaṃ vedeti. Nūnaṃ vedeti. He also knows that you cannot negate that knowledge. Na veda iti na. That means veda, I know. See, to show the conviction within. Doubtless realization, that conviction from that comes from that realization. There is no doubt at all. And that is why Bhagavan Bhashyakara says, the Shishya came back and wrote, not just replied. Because that experience is there. So knowledge is ripe within. It is ripe within. So I am no more considering as somebody who knows well. At the same time, you cannot say, I do not know. I know. It is not my case only. In the midst of your other students who have realized, that realization, he knew. Know for certain that he know. No, nobody can say he do not know. He know. Know what? Know the self. So it is not something to be known. It is not something unknown. It is the knower. It is the knower. So this is the reply of the Shishya. So at this point, the dialogue between Guru and Shishya ends. This is the last mantra in that dialogue. At this point, Shruti herself comes. And Shruti is coming in front of us and giving us the summary of the dialogue. What is that summary? That we will learn in our next sitting. But the mantra is yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedasa avijñātam vijānatam vijñātam avijānatam. Yasya amatam tasya matam. Yasya madam na vedasa. One who is considering as I have comprehended this, I knew this, he do not know. One who is thinking this is not something to be comprehended, this is not something to be known, he knows well. Why? Avijñātam vijānatam. For those who are thinking they know, they didn't know at all. It is unknown. Vijñātam avijānatam. For those who are considering it is not something which is to be known, they have realized. So this is the saying of the Shruti. This mantra we will discuss in our next sitting.